Alright, let's set the stage, because the last few weeks in gaming have been absolute madness. First off, Xbox just pulled off what honestly feels like the weirdest crossover ever. HellDivers 2, a PlayStation-published game, is officially coming to Xbox Series X and S on August 26th. Yeah, you heard me right. That's the Sony Interactive Entertainment logo lighting up your Xbox splash screen. MLB The Show tried something similar, but that was a weird loophole. Wild times, right? And look, Xbox needed a win, badly. Just a day before this news, Microsoft went on a cancel fest, axing untold numbers of games, shutting down studios, and dropping 9,000 employees worldwide. Everwild, gone. Perfect Dark, canceled. Xbox fans have been riding this emotional roller coaster, and suddenly, boom, here comes a Sony game to the rescue. Is the industry collapsing, or is this just the new normal? But let's not get too hyped for God of War or Spider-Man showing up next. PlayStation boss Herman Hulst already explained it. Their live service games, like HellDivers, are made to go everywhere, because those games need as many people as possible to survive. But those big, cinematic, PlayStation-only blockbusters, still locked down. So don't expect to play Ghost of Tsushima on your Xbox anytime soon, unless the universe actually flips upside down. And can we talk about all the region lock and PlayStation account drama from earlier this year? PlayStation tried forcing PC HellDivers players to sign up for PSN, and it blew up instantly. They backtracked, killed region locking, and now people are wondering, will they pull the same stunt on Xbox? Grab your popcorn, because that's going to be entertaining. My personal theory, Xbox probably slid a fat stack of cash across the table to make HellDivers 2 happen. Sony didn't need to, but why say no to easy money, especially after they just raked in a fortune with Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation? Bet there's some Sony execs right now wondering, should we do this more often? Don't expect it to become the norm, but for live service stuff, yeah, those walls are coming down fast. And honestly, with all this business drama, studios shutting down, games canceled, and Xbox restructuring for the future, it's almost poetic that this PlayStation game is now showing up as a big win for Xbox fans. Meanwhile, PlayStation's own PS5 Pro is dropping next year with FSR4 upscaling magic from AMD, and all eyes are on whatever Mark Cerny is cooking for the next generation. And let's not even get started on the MindsEye disaster with Build a Rocket Boy, blaming Saboteurs and promising a total relaunch after their GTA killer turned into an industry meme. So yeah, welcome to gaming in 2025. Studios are folding, layoffs are everywhere, PlayStation and Xbox are trading games like baseball cards, and every day brings some new plot twists. I'll be right here covering every bit of the chaos, so if you're ready for more wild stories, stick around, drop a comment, and let's get into it. Here are the biggest gaming leaks and news you've probably missed this week. Let's talk Stop Killing Games. I've got a bunch of updates for you. First, the headline. The European Citizens Initiative just crossed 1 million signatures. Except, yeah, not really. I know, kind of a morale killer. There are a couple reasons for that. The first one, we saw it coming. Every single time someone messes up their info while signing, that signature gets tossed out. So we basically need to overcompensate for all the people who, I don't know, can't fill out a form to save their life. It's like when you're playing co-op online and some guy just keeps running into walls, somebody's got to pick up the slack. From what I'm hearing, at least 10% of signatures get thrown out minimum, but 20% is safer and 40% would be super safe. Or at least that would be true if it was just people messing up their names. But there's another problem. I've had folks tell me they're spoofing signatures on the site. Seriously. Look, this isn't some change.org petition. It's an official government thing. Faking signatures? That's a crime. Don't do it. The EU Commission is gonna check these later. Europe does not mess around with this stuff, though. The more fake stuff they find, the more likely they are to start tracking people down. Again, I would not risk jail time over this. It's not worth it. But here's the real headache. I have no clue how much this messes with the numbers. And before you freak out, none of this actually cancels the initiative. Every real signature still counts. But that 1 million number might be totally fake. I think we're good for at least 600 600, maybe 700K real ones. But after that, who knows? Maybe it's just a few trolls, or maybe it's a whole botnet spamming hundreds of thousands of signatures. No clue. I noticed the signatures used to spike during the day in Europe and then drop off at night, which makes sense. People sleep. Now, though, it's spiking all night too. So yeah, maybe it's all smoke and mirrors, and we haven't really won anything yet. If you're a data nerd, here's a fun project. Check out the signature surge around June 24th and 25th, especially when Moist dropped his video. I noticed about a 5% bump in signatures compared to his view count. So maybe big YouTube views equals about 5% real signatures. Maybe you can figure out what our real margin actually is. For now, we're just gonna keep grinding away unless someone does the math for us. Sorry if you were hoping for a big "we did it" celebration. It's honestly just kind of tense and weird now, and I know it's gonna kill some people's motivation. Feels a bit like those Japanese soldiers who never got the memo that World War II was over. They just sat on those islands for years, thinking the war was still on. Yeah, that's where I'm at mentally, right? I've been hearing some countries, Italy and Belgium for sure, had issues with the digital ID part of the process. If that's you, just use the manual method. There are step-by-step instructions on stopkilling.com, or just try again in a couple days. Hopefully, it works by then. Now, for the "Are you kidding me?" segment, apparently someone launched a crypto coin called Stop Killing Games. No idea who thought that was a good idea, but let's be real, it's probably a scam. That's all there is to say about that. All right, let's dive back into the Pirate software saga because, wow, last night was wild. Pirate tweeted out, "I'm no longer working at Off-Brand Games. Folks attacked every title we published and tried to mass review bomb them. You can dislike my opinions, but this behavior is unhinged. I learned a ton there, and I hope the team keeps cooking." Quick recap if you're out of the loop. Off-Brand Games is basically the studio behind Rivals of Ether 2, which is that Smash Bros. Style fighting game. The games team split off from Off-Brand's live streaming side just last year, and Pirate was brought in as director of strategy. But here's where it gets spicy. Pirate claims community went on some mass review bombing spree across all their games. Is that actually true? Nope. A Twitter user called Mischief actually dug into the Steam stats and found literally zero signs of any mass review bombing. Rivals 2, totally normal reviews. Yeah, there's always a few negatives, but most are super positive. Bonnie Bear Saves Frog Time demo, no flood of hate. Etherman demo, same deal. The only thing you'll see are a couple old negative reviews from launch, but nothing out of the ordinary. Plus, Steam's gotten pretty good at zapping fake reviews, so even if someone tried, it wouldn't stick for long. The only real spike, it was Pirate's own game, Heartbound. That one got hit with 33 negative reviews around July 1st, but that lines up perfectly with all the drama, not some orchestrated review bomb. And Mischief's stats only go up to June 23rd anyway. Even Pirate's follow-up tweet tried to walk it back, but you can tell he's still leaning into the drama a bit. Now, another thing, Pirate's been shutting down any feedback that doesn't fit the narrative. He's banning people in his Twitch chat, deleting YouTube comments, and even blocked Ross. Yeah, the guy leading Stop Killing Games. All that does is push frustrated folks into a handful of places, which, let's be real, makes it look like there's way more drama than there actually is. It's kind of a sneaky move if you want to keep Steam reviews clean while still acting like you're under fire. Let's rewind a bit. Remember when HellDivers 2 got review bombed after Sony forced that PSN login nonsense? Pirate was super vocal about that, even though Arrowhead Studios wasn't the one calling the shots. If people really wanted to go after off-brand games on Steam, you'd see the same kind of bomb there, but you just don't. Most of the noise is on Discord, Twitter, and Reddit, and honestly, even that isn't as wild as people are making it out to be.
Keep killing game? Bro, Thor, oh my god.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm gonna actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful. Eat my entire ass. This shit sucks. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entire. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Oh yeah, I can see why people like it. It's like listening to Mr. Rogers.
All right, let's talk about AMD and why their stock just shot up. So, AMD just announced that their FSR4 tech, the same upscaling wizardry that PC gamers are already hyped about, is officially coming to the PlayStation 5 Pro in 2026. This is basically an upgrade over Sony's PSSR that launched with the PS5 Pro, so it's a big deal for visuals and performance. This whole thing is a result of that Project Amethyst collab between AMD and Sony. And honestly, it's not a huge shocker. The two have been working hand in hand for years, and whatever they build now is pretty much laying the foundation for the PlayStation 6 too. Here's the catch though. If you've got a regular PS5, you're not getting any of these FSR4 perks. The standard PS5 just doesn't have the hardware for it, which is also why it can't use PSSR. So if you want that extra crisp, AI upscaled goodness, the PS5 Pro is where it's at. And it's not just PlayStation. AMD's been on a roll, locking in deals with Microsoft too. Their chips are powering Xbox, and even the new ROG Xbox Ally X handheld is using AMD tech. Nintendo's still the odd one out, running with Nvidia chips for their Switch too. So, how's AMD stock doing with all this? It jumped nearly 2% on the news and is up over 14% this year. It's still down compared to last year, but Wall Street is mostly calling AMD a moderate buy right now, with most analysts still feeling good about where the company's headed. Bottom line, AMD is flexing hard in the console space. And with all this new tech coming, PlayStation and Xbox gamers are set up for some wild upgrades over the next couple years. Here's the breakdown on the absolute chaos going down with MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy. So Leslie Benzies, yeah, the former Rockstar North boss, now running Build a Rocket Boy, just said that MindsEye, which honestly has been called the worst rated game of 2025, is getting a full-on relaunch. I know, it sounds wild. The reviews have been tanking basically since launch, and now Benzies is doubling down, saying the company will bounce back by relaunching the whole thing. But here's the kicker. According to employees and some IGN reporting, Benzies is blaming Saboteurs for the game's total meltdown. Not just bad luck or a rough launch, but actual sabotage. Echoing something his co-CEO Mark Cerny said a while ago, when he claimed people were literally being paid to trash the game online. When asked if he really believed people were financing all the hate, he straight up said 100%. And get this, it's not just the game that's struggling. Loads of Build a Rocket Boy devs are popping up on LinkedIn saying their jobs are now at risk. So not only is the game flopping, but the studio's own people are stressing out over layoffs, right on the heels of Microsoft's 9,000 plus layoffs industry-wide. Oh, and even Alex Hernandez, the main actor in the game, called them out, saying you should never launch a game unfinished. No arguments there. Honestly, MindsEye was hyped up as some kind of GTA killer, but what dropped was just a mess and quickly turned into a meme. Now the studio's basically saying, give us a second chance. Can they pull it off with a bunch of updates and a relaunch? Or is it too little, too late? So, get this. SHUHEI Yoshida, the former PlayStation boss, yeah, that Yoshida, actually called Nintendo's move with the Japan-only Switch to an amazing business decision. What's wild is this version of the Switch 2 is about $110 cheaper than the regular one, but it's locked to Japanese region games only. You can't just import it and play your Western stuff. It's really for the Japanese market, period. Yoshida was basically saying, look, this is genius for Nintendo, but there's no way PlayStation would ever try something like that. For Sony, it wouldn't make sense to sell the same hardware at a huge discount in one country while everyone else pays more. He totally gets why Nintendo's doing it though. They're trying to keep their stranglehold on Japan. Because let's be real, handheld gaming has always been huge there. It's why Monster Hunter lived on handhelds forever before going global. Okay, so first off, in Japan, it's literally Nintendo versus Sony. Xbox is pretty much invisible over there. Like, you'd struggle to even find an Xbox on store shelves. Even though PC gaming is growing a bit, when it comes to consoles, it's a straight-up Nintendo versus PlayStation turf war. Inside Japan, PlayStation devs see Nintendo as their real rival, but outside of Japan? For Sony, Xbox is the competition they're always watching. It's kinda wild how that dynamic shifts based on where you are. Nintendo's business moves can be weirdly smart. For example, they're selling the Switch 2 in Japan for the same price as the original Switch, even though exchange rates should make it way more expensive. Why? They just want to keep that iron grip on Japan. And Sony? They're not copying that because honestly, it doesn't make sense for their global strategy. Sony jumping into handhelds with the PSP wasn't really about trying to stomp out Nintendo or take the Game Boy's throne. It was more like, we need something to fill the gap between console generations. The PSP was there to keep the business alive while PS2 faded out and PS3 ramped up. And hey, it worked! But the DS was still this weird success with dual screens and touch controls. Both did well, but that was probably the last time dedicated handhelds really thrived. Then smartphones came in and just steamrolled everything. Like, why carry another device when you've already got games on your phone? That's honestly why handheld gaming as we knew it is pretty much gone, except for the Switch, because it's both a console and a portable. Everyone in the industry kind of freaked out when they saw little kids playing games on iPads instead of consoles. It was like this existential crisis. Are we done for? Even the execs felt it. But Nintendo keeps fighting to teach kids how to play with real controllers, not just touch screens. Gotta respect that. Now, it's not just Nintendo, Sony, or Xbox fighting each other. They're all up against mobile gaming as the real competitor. Why do top consoles struggle with their next gen? Here's something nobody really solves. When a company is on top, like Nintendo with the Wii or Sony with the PS2, the next console usually stumbles a bit. It happened with Wii U, PS3, and even Xbox One after the 360. Why? Part of it is just capitalism. Investors want to squeeze every drop out of a hit, which can backfire and make companies lazy or overconfident. Plus, people just get bored. And having competition is honestly healthy for everyone. Otherwise, publishers and devs get squeezed by whoever's on top. Back in the day, we used to hop from game to game, platform to platform. Now, most people stick with one or two games forever. Roblox, Fortnite, whatever. It's kinda wild and a bit depressing for the folks making single-player games. But hey, gaming with friends is a big reason people stick to those games. It's more about hanging out than the actual game sometimes. There's still hope, though. Indie games are keeping things fresh, and every year there's something totally new that nobody saw coming. Plus, tech keeps pushing things forward. AI, new hardware features, all that. That's why the future isn't totally bleak. Let's talk money. Everyone freaked out when Mario Kart World was priced at $80. But here's the thing, every game is different. Some are worth it, some aren't. Sony had $200 million budgets for the biggest games. And over time, that means publishers are making fewer big games because it's so expensive and risky. PS5 era games are costing double what they used to, and there's a breaking point. Bottom line, Japan's a Nintendo stronghold, Sony's gone global, Xbox is a ghost over there, mobile changed the game for everyone, and the industry's always got to find a balance between going big and staying creative. Okay, so here's another big twist in the Switch 2 story. Nintendo's getting grilled in Brazil right now because they basically have the power to brick or permanently ban Switch 2 consoles from ever going online. If you use certain carts, MIG carts, and Nintendo catches it, your console could get completely blocked from online features, like it's just dead in the water, error message and all. This has turned into a real legal headache, especially after people started buying these banned consoles second hand, thinking they were getting a good deal, only to find out the thing literally just doesn't work online. Imagine dropping cash on a Switch 2 from a marketplace, plugging it in, and bam, error code. No way to fix it. So Brazil's big consumer protection agency, Procon SP, is now pushing back. They're basically saying, hey Nintendo, this isn't fair. People have paid for this hardware and expect to use it. You can't just kill someone's access because of a policy or a previous owner's mistake. They filed a formal complaint and told Nintendo to knock it off or explain themselves, and Nintendo has 20 days to respond. It's kind of a mess, honestly, especially for anyone in Brazil, or honestly, anyone buying a Switch 2 used. Because now, you gotta worry if your console is secretly blacklisted before you even turn it on. Another classic case of digital rights drama in gaming. So, have you heard the latest Xbox rumor going around? Apparently, people are saying that Phil Spencer, the guy basically running all of Xbox and Microsoft gaming, might be retiring after the next-gen Xbox launches. Yeah, that's the big talk right now, and honestly, I've heard this one floating around a few times, especially at Summer Game Fest this year. The source? It's at the Ghost of Hope. If you're big into Call of Duty leaks, you might recognize the name. They've actually had a pretty decent track record with rumors in the past. According to them, Phil is working pretty closely with Sarah Bond and her team to make sure everything's all good for when she takes over as CEO. And honestly, doesn't that sound kind of believable? I mean, after everything that's happened lately, like today's absolutely brutal round of layoffs at Microsoft with something like 9,000 people affected, including a ton in Xbox, it sort of makes sense that people are expecting big changes at the top too. But here's the kicker. Microsoft's official line is basically, nope, not happening, not anytime soon. The head of Xbox comms, Kari Perez, actually put out a statement straight up saying, Phil is not retiring anytime soon. Pretty direct, right? Even Microsoft's comms boss, Frank Shaw, jumped on X to say that at least part of the rumor was basically made up. So what do we make of all this? Well, for now, it looks like Phil isn't going anywhere just yet. But you can't really blame people for wondering, especially after all the layoffs, studio closures, Everwild got the axe. The initiative is gone. Even Turn 10 is letting go of more than 70 people. It's honestly wild times at Xbox right now. So there's even more rumors flying around about the Xbox layoffs. And honestly, it just keeps getting worse. Some folks are now saying layoffs at Microsoft Gaming could be anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people. Out of about 20,000 Xbox employees, that's a pretty massive chunk. And apparently, nobody at Halo's studio is confident about their next project. Like, morale is in the toilet right now. Microsoft is also reportedly looking to replace a ton of jobs with AI, which is a whole other can of worms. I mean, if you think AI isn't going to be a problem for the industry, just wait. If companies don't put some limits in place, a lot of these jobs, real, actual people's jobs, are just going to disappear, all in the name of cutting costs. Honestly, I gotta agree. Halo is gone. Halo was Bungie. Bungie was Halo. Bungie dipped, Sony swooped in and bought them. But let's be real, Bungie isn't the same Bungie anymore, and Halo's not what it used to be. Now, about the whole AI thing, I see both sides. It's cool for speeding up dev stuff, making things more efficient, but when you've got AI cranking out weapon skins for Call of Duty in 1 second just to sell them, yeah, that's sketchy. That's not the future we want. But let's get back to the layoffs. Most of these cuts are hitting the Xbox division. Why? Because Microsoft is basically done with Xbox hardware. I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, but it's true. Satya Nadella, Phil Spencer, they've all been dropping hints for years. The layoffs aren't really about AI. They're about Microsoft slowly stepping away from Xbox as a hardware brand. The proof is right there. If it was just AI, then why isn't Sony firing 20,000 people and shutting down 5 studios? Easy. Sony's teams are actually making games. Like, a lot of games. I don't even have time to list them all. So, here's my question. Why is Microsoft laying off everyone from the Xbox division, shutting down studios, and canceling games? Again, is this just the end for Xbox hardware? Or is something else going on? And, for real, outside of the next Elder Scrolls, what big IP does Microsoft actually have left that people care about? Halo's dead, Fable's missing in action, and everyone else is just kinda hanging on. Let's talk about it. Drop your take down below. Where do you see Xbox going in the next few years? Is this just business, or is it the beginning of the end? Smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next twist. Trust me, it's about to get wild.
Freedom. What is it worth? For some, the answer is simple. Everything.